Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Tyranny, the greatest hoe in the universe apparently. Any patrons of this place to tune on would meet their fate in the pits below the floor. Cool. The circumstances were, well, it was madness, Your Honor. No one could be expected to act in a rational way. No, perhaps I expect too much of your service. Is that it? No, Your Honor, but if you hear my testimony, I think you understand I better alternative has presented itself. Fatebinder, will you audience this case in my stead? Curious what manner of conclusion you will draw. Let's hear your case, Fatebinder and Furia. Excellent. The testimony begins now. I'm afraid it's sensitive matter. I was away from the city seeing to a military camp when I discovered two Scarlet Court soldiers defiling a woman. A local from the tiers. Yes, and I understand that it is a common enough occurrence in the army, but I couldn't stand for it. I was brought up to know better. I was taught to be better. What happened next? I found the recruits. They fought back, but in the end my skill won out. After they were both dead, I let the poor woman go. Their gang boss witnessed everything through. He didn't intervene until it was all done. I was trussed up and brought back to court in a wagon, where you find me now. And what fine company you made on the journey over. Gang boss spreads his lips open into the grin. The defendant is charged with murder of subjects who are owed the protection of Kairos woe. Why isn't the victim of the sought matter of concern? She was danced to the tears. She has no right under Kairos law. This is a simple murder trial. Defendant stands before you. I would caution against burning yourself with extraneous valuables. And the gang boss didn't intervene at all. My recruits couldn't defend themselves against the glorified clerk, then their lives were forfeit. As far as I was concerned, good riddance. I'm still happy to get satisfaction on the matter. The ball is the wall. All he did was joke about how the court would be merciless. Not all the way to the bastard city. Didn't seem particularly bent out of shape or over his lost man. Do you regret your actions? No. If our positions were reversed, I would have wanted someone to step in on my behalf. Car's woes be damned. Oh, you should not have said that. Suppose I should keep my distance from the Scarlet Cohorts in the future, I might not be able to restrain myself if I saw it happen again. Did you speak with the Tears woman? Only briefly. She thanked me before fleeing. I didn't want to keep her. She'd suffered enough at the hands of those soldiers. You don't think she said anything about wishing to join the army? The army? No, that I... Thinking, she froze. And she definitely wasn't in the area for that very purpose. That's right, she only mentioned it in passing, but she told me that she was attempting to make contact with the Scarlet Chorus, to join them. That was when the soldiers attacked. It is. I'm ready to give my verdict. If the woman intended to join the Scarlet Chorus, she was protected by under Kairos laws. Your actions were just. She delivers a blow of gratitude, holding your eyes contact the entire time. Thank you for handling my case. Fatebinder Furia. You have ducked Kairos punishment with Technology, be more mindful of your delicate position in the future. What? I didn't make the laws, I'm just the diplomat who follows them. That's why I love being a diplomat. Your grasp of Kairos law troubles me. It reeks of independent thoughts, honor beyond the proclaimable walls of our court. And yet, your ruling dismissed. You gonna say something, Chuckles? What, you're gonna walk the same way until, very slowly until you reach the door and then what? Kairos. I'm duty-bound to remain civil to you, this volunteer court, but don't push, traitor. Oh, I'm the traitor. Didn't see you complain much. Fate binder. I'm here at ease in this polished hall, but admit that it's a reprieve from the battlefield and training grounds. If Ash needs me to stay here and represent his interests throughout the occupation, then I'll be up to the task. And Aurora? Yeah, she avoids any contact and continues to speak with everyone. Locality. And I gain rot with this game because I actually follow the laws. Lady Lucretius. Oh, greetings. This well-dressed older woman stands... She looks just like everyone else. Anyway, apart from the military crowd of nobles, she stares off into the distance of your approach until you're right in front of her. Oh, greetings. I'm the Lucretius, formerly the Thrist home. You have the look of someone who belongs here. A faint binder, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. You need something from me. What are all the nobles doing in the court? Trying to look brave, I warrant. But if you crane near to any of their conversation, you'll hear a different tale. 3 years since Tanon set up shop in the bastard city, we're still getting used to our new masters. Figuring out what we can and can't ask of them. These are smart ring-pouty folks. The way they approach Tanon, you'd think they were raised under a tyrant's lash. Some have come to settle grievance, others to pledge fealty. I've been standing around long enough to know that the educator doesn't care for empty gestures. And how has the bastard city fared since the conquest? The armies claim the city is quieter, more organized manner than I might have expected. I can't credit them that much, to be sure. Thanks to Kairos infiltrators, most of our officials were put to the sword before we surrendered. The chaos made the takeover easy for Kairos, forcing but controlling the city without any leaders to bend the knee was hard work. We suffered our share of hardship, but it seems that Kairos wanted us alive. That's more generous outcome than some of us were led to believe. And what does bring a noble such as yourself here? Like the rest of the frightened Inders here, I came to see Tanan and ask him to right a wrong. My manor was destroyed during the conquest. I told the educator my woes, but we didn't exactly see eye to eye. Tell me yourself. I'm the daughter of a noble house. We were wealthy enough to live in the city, but our means beyond were limited. My mother dealt with fish, textile, and bronze. Yes, those things just go hand in hand, you know. By the time I inherited the business was taking care of itself. Of course, all that has changed. Kairos home is no more, and my name has none of its former weight. Even if we were still in business, Kairos laws would stifle our trading rights, perhaps better this way. Tell me about the Tristal home. It was my family's ancestral home. The oldest stone dated back to the years when Buster City was not but a dozen roofs, and the wagons, clustered for warmth. Compared to the houses of the great lords, it was nothing special. Age had softened the wood, and its queer placement in the wares district set it apart from the finer grounds, where lords and ladies stored for amusement. It was a mess, but our mess all the same. Would invite you over for tea sometimes, something stronger even, but it would only disappoint. You'll find not there, the gamble hole. So your house was in the warehouse district. You must understand that Troho predated the city district. My grandmother was also a president woman, of course. Merchants. Okay, why can't I read this word for some reason? Storing. Merchant storing sold gold and lamprey eggs on the education grounds were no cause for her to budge from her spot. And what happened? Collateral damage happened. When the educator cast his judgment on the bastard city, he destroyed the district of all the corrupt merchant kings, their manors, and their counting houses, and yes, their warehouses. Each dignified threshold collapsed as a massive sinkhole opened under her foundation. The bastard city's laws may not have been perfect by Cairo's standards, but my family followed them with respect. Never took up or ring more than we deserve. I can't help but feel that my estate was not the criminal Sultan had in mind during his sentence. And what is it that you want to do? That's the question, isn't it? I appealed to the educator, thinking he would see reason. After considering my case for all the 8 seconds, he awarded me a belt of rings and a plot of land on the outskirts of the city. He told me to build a new start farming. Can you believe that? It's not even that I'm opposed to the labor, but we're in a war. I can't have the scarlet corals breathing down my neck, rotting my corpse, and Kairos knows what else. The scarlet corals are dogs. I suggest you use the rings to higher protection. And isn't that the most backward cycle of the ring trading I ever heard? But in case light or something, I've been thinking while I stand here Washington and go about his business. Come from a long line of smart ring-savvy merchants, but even I can't reconcile Eternal's justice with Cairo's laws. There is something wrong about it. Maybe Eternal knows something I don't, or maybe you presume to know more of justice than the educator. No, it's not that at all. I'm saying that I don't understand Cairo's law as well as I thought I did. Maybe none of us do. People come here for justice, and usually get a version of it. And it's Dylan's version, not theirs. Half of the time, they don't even get what they wanted out of the ruling in their favor. The deed to farm, for instance. Not to put my own ignorance on display, but if more people knew how Cairo's law works, then might not come here seeking ruling at all, even a fair one. Tyranny is a servant of law, but he is the overlord's vassal as much as any of us. Sometimes it seems like he uses his position to twist everything in the Empire's favor. We're just pieces on board, and he can move us whenever his law justifies that. We stand. That doesn't sound, well, legal. I can only endeavor to bring true justice to the tears, no? Fascinating. Tyranny isn't one to change his mind. Unfair as it might seem, the ruling stands. He had no thoughts of displeasure in the ruling, but I appreciate the kindness of your tone all the same. It's an uncommon thing to find in the bastard city these days. Farewell, Fatebinder. Be well. You know, I haven't seen a single merchant who sells anything more than scrap metal. We don't even see why do we need so much money. Blazing Monarch. Oh, Mocking Blaze, anyway. Carl's gang boss regards you with look of frank hostility. Fifth die was important to us, even if Mighty Tunon gave you a pass, the gang won't forget it. I don't know how you plan on fighting this war without an army, what you think you can accomplish on your own, but I am dying to find out. You will be dying a lot more than you think then. You will make our time in the tiers an interesting one, won't you? Of course you will. Why you killed the fifth eye after all you did for us in the Lessing Crossing is something I'll never understand. Someday I'll fashion an instrument for your lungs and squeeze the answer out of you. But not today. The fifth eye promised me blood-chanted lore. He slipped and fell off the spire, but his dead still stands. Perhaps you should have waited until the two of you settled the debt before raising a hand against the Corals. You'd betray us, then come demanding gold favors. You can't possibly expect me to honor such promise now. What possible reason would you have to? Looking back on Tunon, the Corals warrior cleans his throat, steadies his position. What possible reason would I have to make an enemy of the court? A mere bit of parchment will settle the matter. It is no potion. Besides, I rather like the notion of you flattering the Corals by way of limiting our magic. Study, and study well. The voice of Nara prefers them educated. Cool! That was actually kinda cool. The Silent Archive. This gives you wit, resolve, and trap detection. This one's for you. Sigil of Blood Magic. Cool, let's create a spell, shall we? Actually, can I upgrade this now? Because I'm not really sure if I can. I did say this, this, and this. Cannot update it because I don't have enough lore. Yeah, it's 43, needs to be 45 for that to happen. Oh, there are some Fatebinders here I need to speak with. Fatebinder Regalis. Fatebinder, you return. Gauss looks you up and down with an inspiration expression. You look as if you have questions for me. To untangle, ask. I am feeling generous. Where did you study when you were younger? Yeah, sure. I've been ward of court for as long as I've been aware. As a child, I demonstrated wholly perfect recall, and I absorbed all the talent and my tutors had to offer. I remember hating all of the lectures and wishing I could learn my piece. Funny how I envied the Sage of Tears, how they could spend their whole lives dreading and never exhaust their library. Of course now the volume citadel is nothing more than a burning waste. I want to ask about the sages. I will not speak of the sages, they are no better than charlatans and cons, wholly selfish in their idle pursuit of all knowledge from others. They are self-blinded by their own deception and clever manipulations. They alone caused their own undoing, and are solely to blame for the burning library, one of the most grievous wrongs in the known history, for which they can never be forgiven. What do you think about the other fate binders? You need to be more specific than that, I'm afraid. There is on last court slight more than a handful of us. What's your opinion of me? You take liberties with the freedom Tunon offers us, in spite of the objectivity beyond the question. You would, I think, execute plaintiff and defendant if neither was worthy of your ears. Eyes. Sure. You need to be more specific. Okay, tell me about the fate binder, balance. Kylo, the finest among us. That'd be me actually, but whatever. He descends in beyond reproach, and she is perhaps Tinon's favorite. She has mind for suspicion and observation that makes others uneasy. We who operate within the confines of the wall have nothing to fear, of course. You need to be more specific. Okay, tell me about the fate binder of war. Nunuvau, keen, brash, and haughty braggart, with fondness for bloodshed, he can be utterly unbearable at times. His justice is fair, even if he scowls stole, rather exercising the uncompromising punishment at times. Tell me about the past Archons. Yeah, that's a nice question. I like history. Noxt Mireia, the Archon of Pestilence, was disliked in her circles. When she opened her eyes to see her mouth to speak, it is said that flies would gust into the air, swarming so thick that to blacken the sky. She died in the 20th year of her birth, following a string of unusual, grotesque symptoms. Can you tell me about Orals and Bane? Start with Bane. The Bane are found in the old wells, but much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke, claw, and fang. If you find yourself unfortunate enough to find one, remember that spells are effective against them, but grab the attention of other lurking near. Okay. And old wells? We know little enough about the ancient structures, save their predate all historical record. The forbidden ruins crescent the tears of the North alike, centuries before we razed our cities. The only old enough to guess is likely Kairos. Okay, just want to see if it says anywhere if it's a woman or a man. I would like to know about the tiers. The political entities of the tiers are essentially split between the bastard tier, the younger realms, and the free cities. Which ones are you more interested in? Tell me about the younger realms. The younger realms spout the middle and southernmost tiers, and can be catalogued as follows: Apex, Azure, Haven, and Steward. Azure was renowned for its exceptionally fertile land, which fed the whole of Tyres. That was before Kairos' edict to stone like the land. Steward is also worth mention, for it composes the whole of the southernmost tier, and proves the toughest and most defensible of the realms. It is often said that the other realms will not fall while Tyr still stands. The local army wages a bitter war against disfavored. Through the Edict of Storm has cut off the best of their defenses, it is only a matter of time before Steward falls. Tell me about the Bastard Tier. The Bastard Tier is the most northern of the tiers, and was first to bow Kairos' reign. Through the new they bent fell unwillingly. Kairos had his eyes on the bastard Tyr for many years before he marched to her capital city. This is the hub of trade and commerce, claim and market, and the people will follow. Tell me about the free cities then. There are the three cities remaining: Last Harbor, Sparrow Mall, and Baris the Giants. The first strongest of the three cities was the setting sun, which Kairos crushed in 29 with the Edict of Tumul. Wow, so those edicts are kind of a thing that isn't really a reality, is it? And still she couldn't conquer the entire land with them. After that, the remaining three cities were quick to surrender. Well, that's it, I guess. So this is the best one of them, Callio. Regards, Melakroth. You look as if you need something. Oh, so that's a woman? Okay. Well, yes, with that thing on her head, it's very hard to say. What can I do for you? Was anything happening while I was away? Nero was dispatched to Stoward to break the stalemate between the locals and disfavored. He proclaims Kairos Edict of Storm, shattering the country with winds uneruded. Okay. You seem to know much of my actions. Have you been spying on me? Don't act us so surprised. It's my duty to ensure that those who operate under Educator's name adhere to the spirit of his law, if not the very letter. And those who don't will be dealt with swiftly and efficiently at the point of Ballenmark's blade. Of course, that's assuming that I don't dispatch them first. I take my duty seriously. I am very, very good at them. I'm starting to like you. Tell me about Tunon. Our overlord's fair and exciting educator. He speaks with the voice of Kairos law, and his word is judgment. Oh, this and more you can learn by asking him yourself. Go on, or does it intimidate you still? I jest, of course. I will ask him later. Are you occupied in time in the Bastard City? Okay, don't send me on assignment here and there. I settle disputes between the locals when the educator is otherwise occupied. Everything from the disagreement of pushing Kairos' quarters out of the basement, real rewarding work, I'm sure. The glory of the war is not the honor reserved for the likes of us. We are fish swimming into one's wake, picking up scraps along the way. We are rather large and imposing compared to bottom fierce tears, but fish all the same. I have some concerns about this war. You're free to share them in my confidence. We cannot crush the opposition with such weak efforts. We are too lenient. Our armies bubble at each other's throats. Divided, we cannot win. Yes, let's say that. I'm less concerned about the armies than the archons themselves. There can be no other when mountains collide. Who would you see as champion? Neither. They are both at fault and equally inept. And then who would lead our advances or be left to deliver Kairos' peace? Would you wear this responsibility as a crown upon your head? You might find it a heavy burden to bear. I can handle it. The educated trust your prowess, but in this I am more discriminating. You should be as well. Oh, thank you, I think. There's one more. Let's talk to Nunuvau. I will not pretend to understand any strategic decision you have made, but they are yours all the same. Even so, I am curious about your travels in the tiers. Come, let's speak freely. How are you signed out to become a Fatebinder? I cannot speak of this, of course. I joined. I cannot speak for the other Fate Binders. But I joined the court when I was yet still a boy, and impotent beyond reason. Had been imprisoned with a death sentence for the crime of destroying corpses. It was nothing so exciting as you are no doubt imagining. I was merely burning crops that awaited burial before the local authority could see me to the gallows. The educator claimed me, a great talent waiting to be realized, needed only to be steered. Yes, you do look like a great talent. Why was that a crime? There was time when even the Northerns were of a superstition stock, a time before cowards brought reason to the realms. The people of my city believed that without proper rituals was cheating our fallen warriors from returning to the land. You should have respect their traditions, you know that. Why burn the bodies? Corpses spilling in the streets spread plague faster than the lightest of rats. I was but 10 and a weak fighter. Did what I could for my homeland. Yes, but burning the plagued bodies is also a bad thing, you know that, right? Good thing that he spared you. As I have said, the educator saw within me something of rare value, as is true for all of us. You as well were chosen for our great country. And well, no, actually, I earned my position here, which I am grateful. As a famed binder of war, I rely heavily on your talents. Let's talk about something else then. Curious about Tunon's masks? They can be rather unsettling, can't they? Even to one such as me, but I can assure you the innocents need not fear their objective, emotionless gaze. What will the mask specifically would you like to know? The silent face. Tell me about that. The silent face is the face that Tunon shows to us now, and for that we are fortunate beyond belief. The silent face is patient face, a face for lasting as Tunon presides over all matters brought to the court, making great pains to ensure all sides of an issue are heard. Tell me about the face of resolve. Last known to name the face of resolve was the moment he judged and called ruin to half the district in the bastard city. Since then he has ruled our northern tiers justly, calm and with effective diplomacy. The face that is no more. Sounds kinda medicine. It is said to have worn a third mask eons past. We have heard rumors that the face displayed Kairos, thus was destroyed, as it happens to all persons and objects that displays our overlord. Oh, so we actually are building a divine myth around him or her. Have you ever seen Tyranny change his masks? In the way that you or I would change our raiment? No, not as such, and yet I have seen the masks shift. They switch without the educator or anyone so much as laying a hand on them. It's not something you can watch unfold. After a time, you merely realize it has already happened. Oh, okay. There is work enough, Scoutry, and we shouldn't occupy ourselves wondering our mysteries. Tell me about the Fatebinders and their history. We are relatively young order throughout we have spanned these past 2 centuries. All the voice of Nerat and Gavanash need armies to execute their will. Down mills but the modest court of vassals. We exist as the extension of this law. There is no place in all of the answers beyond our judgment. Oh, so we're just like the specters from Mass Effect. That's nice to see. Tell about the Kairos armies, our allies. And yes, with friends like these, our work is often self-explanatory. Okay, let's talk about the disfavor first. Are the iron tip of Kairos' great allies, armed with the best weapons, most comprehensive training, and led by a brilliant Gavan Ash. The disfavored have no quarrel in open battle. The Legion has saying Gavanash protects. The Emperor protects. Okay, and it's so empty boast. The Archon of War is able to lead his will and strength to his soldiers and give them endurance beyond human limit. I have great respect for this favored, but I know where I stand with them. They are very close to knit band, all of them from the northern families, many of them related to each other. But considering our role in the great hierarchy, I can't fault General Ash for being selective. Tell me about the Scarlet Chorus. Soldiers hail from every corner of the realm. As the chorus marches in conscripts, indestructibly from those it has conquered, to replenish its ranks. There is no continuity or command in the chorus. Narat allows and encourages even the strong to challenge their leader. But chorus has numbers and brute force in almost always viable solution, much as the Rogulas insist otherwise. Besides, the Scarlet Chorus draws straight from the multitudes it swallows. Its blood chanters have knowledge from virtues, tears mystics, and many of Carlos' best soldiers were grown here in the south. I have claimed the spire of Endron well. So the course whispers are true. Some day I would like to witness for myself this tower that has risen above the realms with a blade thrust into the sky. So what, he liked me because I did something he didn't like me before? Tell me about your recent victories. Have you not yet tried my talents, Malacroft? I do admit I never tire of telling them. Yes, you look like a person who always likes to speak and never listen. Very well then. Let me champion the feats of my conquests. Let the glory of Kyros rain fall on any earth that will hear of it. You may be interested to know that as of late I have entered a forge-bound smith to craft me an iron sword, one he claims will not break in battle. However, and rather unfortunately, there appears to be an extended period of delay for the delivery of goods promised, even for a fatebinder. To return, it is gratifying to see that war has not caused you to forget your roots. Tell me about Bowden Mark. He is my headsmith, an assassin without equal. His official designation in Kairos hierarchy is the Archon of Shadows, though I wonder that he ever considered himself aught but a slayer of unjust. So does he serve you alone? Your question is flawed. We are all servants of Kairos. Archons are also agents of their own interest, those chosen few and power to bring order to the world and called by Kairos' peace. At present Belen Mark is my vassal, and I his patron. The relationship is not so different from Gavanash and Karen, the fallen Archon of or the voice of Nara and his southern siren. Such partnering and appropriations are common. They provide mutual benefit to the Archons involved as well as a measure of oversight. So how did he earn his title? He works away from the court, takes Baden Mark to the dark place of the world. The tribes of the Northern Empire alike, over time shadows become his domain. They cloak him, protect him, and even fight for him, if need arises. They say that Baron Mark can travel any place where shadows are cast. Only he would know this for certain. Back to my other question. You may proceed. Tell me about Kairos. I am in privileged position to know Kairos better than other Archons. I do not tread the knowledge lightly. When I trust that your interest will aid in the execution of war, will speak of this, but not before. Curious about you, Archon. Okay. Curiosity is not a trait that I encourage in my service too often. I have witnessed such activity leading down a path of lawlessness. However, if you feel that better understanding of me will inform your work, then I will allow it. You know, I think I'll speak to him next time, and I'm gonna end the episode here. We actually didn't do anything except speak with people and gathered a lot of knowledge, so let's call it the lore gathering episode. See you all next time. Goodbye.